Hello and welcome to the NBA Outlet presented by OTGBasketball.com. I'm your host, Nick Fay, and with me, as always, Kory Waldron. And tonight we are recapping the NBA Finals. It's all wrapped up. The Warriors swept the Cavaliers in Game 4, 108-85. How you feeling, Kory?
Fat lady sung, turn off the lights, the party's over. We were both correct, Nick. We got the finals right. You and me both picked the Warriors in 4. The Warriors 1 in 4. There's not much more to say to a degree. A dominant team, dominant performance tonight.
And you mentioned the fat lady saying, this one was over in the third quarter. It felt like it was over in the first quarter. As soon as Draymond and Iguodala hit back-to-back threes, it just didn't feel good for the Cavs. And in that third quarter, they just kind of, I don't want to say it, but they just kind of gave up. And LeBron, I don't want to throw any shade at him. It just wasn't a huge game from him. He didn't seem super interested in that second half, and it was just tough to watch, to be honest. You wanted it to end to be over with.
Yeah, God, was Mark Jackson not just on LeBron James all night though?
All series, to be honest. He was talking way too much about LeBron, complaining about his effort when the guy has to play almost the entire game.
Yeah, LeBron played again, 40 minutes tonight. He was the only Cavalier to play more than 30 minutes. Obviously, when they got blown out, they kind of put in the preserves. LeBron, 23 points, 53% from the field. 11 free throw attempts, made 9 of them. 8 assists, 6 turnovers, 7 rebounds. LeBron was fine. And obviously the effort thing, it is what it is. He saw what he was going up against. He knew that the Cavs team he had wasn't going to win 4 straight. I don't want to say he didn't give up, but there comes a point in time where you're not going to just put, a ton of pressure on your body for no reason.
Yeah, it's human nature to just realize, the only thing I would say is strange. He only took 13 shots, but, enough about the Cavs. Like you said, they just really didn't play well. Kevin Love shot terrible. Tristan Thompson didn't bring much. J.R. Smith was J.R. Smith. George Hill didn't show up. Kyle Korver had a terrible series on that side. And then on the Warriors side, KD won Finals MVP back-to-back, 20 points, had a triple-double tonight, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. Engaged from the start defensively, had a nice couple blocks. I just felt the Warriors as a team were engaged. They got killed on the boards, but I felt like some of that was just over-rotating defensively, but it just felt like they were locked in from the start tonight.
Yeah, that first quarter was a prime example. They got out quick. I was actually surprised that the Cavs fought back in the second quarter. Because it felt like to me in the first quarter the Cavs looked done to me. I don't know. Obviously they were done series-wise, but the Warriors came out hot. And like you said, Iggy, the role players were huge tonight. JaVale McGee was plus 21 in 16 minutes. Iggy was 3 for 6 from 3. Jordan Bell played a really high energetic 18 minutes. Durant, tonight was Curry's game. Not that Durant didn't deserve Finals MVPs. He played 2 tremendous games. He had a triple-double tonight, plus 30, which is remarkable. That's ridiculous in any game. But I feel like Curry was close to that Finals MVP, and hopefully he gets a chance next year. But, those 2 guys were fantastic, and Curry made a lot of really tough shots tonight.
If he had an average Game 3, I think Curry would have won Finals MVP, but just because he played so bad in Game 3, I think that kind of hurt his case.
Yeah.
If he had put up just a 20-point, even if he didn't shoot that well, 20 points, a couple assists, a couple rebounds, I think it would have been okay. But just that type of performance, I think it just made it a little bit harder to give him Finals MVP. Where KD had the bad Game 1, but he still put up 20+. So, it was kind of like 50-50 going into it because you knew Curry had the big game tonight, but that Game 3 kind of probably left a sour taste in the voters' mouth.
Yeah, and I feel like Game 3 is more important than Game 4 in this series in particular. And obviously Durant showed up in that game. And when you're up 3-0, I feel like the value of the game is down compared to when you're up 2-0.
Yeah, there wasn't much pressure. The Warriors were kind of just having fun out there, and they were happy. And it seemed like the Cavs were super tense. Like they just were out of it from the start.
Yeah, they looked done. George Hill to me looked awful tonight. And like you said, you can go down the list. We already did. Nobody really showed up.
To be honest, there's not really much to say about this game. Like you mentioned from the start, we both picked it correctly because it was honestly an easy pick going to the series. The Warriors are just that much more talented. We kind of knew in the last series in the Western Conference Finals that was going to be the best matchup we saw against the Warriors, and that was the case. And, the Cavs did impress a little bit because they had a shot in Game 1, they had a shot in Game 3 to win it, but they couldn't capitalize, and we got the sweep.
Yeah, we can do the what ifs and everything else, but We mentioned it after game one. Game one was the Cavaliers' best chance to make this possibly a 6-game series. And once they lost that game one, I felt like they didn't have a chance to win another game. For one, the mental toll that kind of loss takes on you, especially when you're playing against a team like the Warriors. Game two, they had no chance because of how game one ended. And then obviously, like you said, they were close in game three, but LeBron James can only do so much.
Exactly. So really, like I said, we're not really going to talk much about this. I want to give a big shout out to everybody who listens to the NBA Outlet all season long, all the OTG podcasts, Brooklyn Buzz, Flexus Hoops, JBT, all the ones out there. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody who checked out OTGbasketball.com. And tomorrow we're going to be starting our free agency coverage, our off-season coverage. We're going to drop a pod tomorrow on the Atlantic Division. As always, thank you for listening, Kory. Thank you for hopping on. And anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Just thank you for all the support we've gotten this year. It's been tremendous for Off the Glass, for the NBA Outlet, for my own podcast, Flexus Hoops. It's been a great year. I got a text before saying last podcast of the season from somebody, and I was like, no. I got like one tomorrow, one the day after. The podcast don't stop. The NBA world, we're 2 weeks away from the draft and 3 weeks away from free agency. So the season's over, so we get a day or 12 hours because we'll be recording 11 hours from now. So the season doesn't stop, but it was a tremendous season. Again, thanks to everybody for their support, and we got more to come.
Exactly. It's almost like the finals is the break because you have breaks in between games, but then after this point, it's kind of all out. Also, though, a big shout out to the OTG staff. You guys have killed it all year long. I appreciate everything you've done and continue the hard work. And like Kory said, we're just going to keep grinding, and we'll talk to you guys soon.